Welcome to the SGV Master Key, a show where you will hear personal stories of triumph over failures and how others successfully navigated the unique landscape that is the San Gabriel Valley. What makes us different? Well, just like you, we have chosen the San Gabriel Valley for our home or businesses or both. We believe it is the people and small businesses that make this community great, and we love to share their stories with you. We always encourage your questions and feedback, and you can find all of our contact information at sgvmasterkey.com. Here are the hosts for the show, Russell Mono and Scott Warmoth.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the SGV Master Key podcast. I'm your host, Russell.
And I'm Scott Warmoth, and we have the guest we've been waiting for so long, Sandy Rosco, the president of the Chamber, the executive director of the San Gabriel Chamber of Commerce. And welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. And I've been looking forward to this. And I was so sad I couldn't be here the original date, but a death in our family prevented that.
Yes.
Now I'm here.
Yes. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, my
tragedy.
condolences.
Yes.
Thank you.
But thank you for coming. And if there's anybody who is Ms. San Gabriel Valley, it's Sandy Rosco.
I do love it.
Yeah. So you could tell us a little bit how long you've been in the San Gabriel Valley, what your history is here.
Okay, well, my history is actually Southern California, and I didn't come to the San Gabriel Valley until November 1st, 2006, when I came to the Chamber. Before that, I was in Glendale, and so I was in Burbank. So I was in the San Fernando Valley, so Valley girl. But I came here in 2006 and fell in love with the whole San Gabriel Valley as I started to explore it. The San Gabriel clearly is what I love.
And you said you came to the Chamber at that time.
Yeah, so I came to the Chamber in November 1st, 2006, and I only came to San Gabriel. I didn't move here, but I came to the San Gabriel, the city of San Gabriel, to work at the Chamber. Before that, I was in Glendale, in the Glendale area in Burbank. That's where I was, and now I'm here.
So you have been here 14 years, and you've just developed your life is now built around this, as far as I can see.
It is, Scott. Like I said, I don't live here. I live in La Cañada, but I spend, as you know, more of my time in San Gabriel. People do think I live there. For a lot of people, they think I live at the Hilton, because until the shutdown, we had so many events at the Hilton that I was there all the time, and people actually thought I lived there. Yeah. They said, "What floor do you live on?" As if I would tell them. I said, "I don't live here, and I wouldn't tell you what floor I would if I did, but I love San Gabriel. I love the city. I love the drive to it. I love all around it." And the furthest I started exploring was when you selfishly and left and moved to, sort of left and went to City of Industry when you moved there, but we went and did your grand opening ribbon cutting.
That's right, yeah.
Because I'm extremely protective, and if he's going to be in another city, I'll just go there too. But the more I looked, the more I liked it.
Well, Sandy, for instance, to tell you how San Gabriel-centric she is, she'll refer to Pasadena or San Marino as North San Gabriel. Yes. Rosemead would be East San Gabriel.
So there is no other city except San Gabriel, because I'm here, and while I don't live here, I'm here more than I'm home, especially before the pandemic and the shutdown. So I didn't really see any reason for other cities to exist other than to help our chamber, or for us to help them, but it was all about the San Gabriel Chamber of Commerce. And so wherever I had members, but we just wanted them to all be part of us. So we don't have a lot of boundaries. In fact, we have none. His office in City of Industry is just south, I think it's east, San Gabriel.
That's right.
Because I saw, in fact, we came in when we did your grand opening ribbon cutting, somebody from that area, from the City of Industry, was there. It may have been the mayor, but it may have been somebody else from there. But they said, "Scott, we have a lot of offices here. You could relocate your entire firm to this location." And Congresswoman Judy Chu happened to be there at that. Of course, she was there supporting it. And when he said that, Judy instantly said, "Oh, Sandy will kill you. She will kill you if you take one of her members." And I said, "I will. I'll just take your head off. You can't have him. Why do you think I'm here? Why do you think we're here helping with this ribbon cutting? Because you can't have him." So that's
Yes, she is very protective of her chamber members and the
wherever they're
businesses.
located, wherever the members are located, however big they are, small they are, nonprofit, it doesn't matter. If they belong to our chamber, they're ours. And we are fiercely loyal to them and we protect them. So we just really don't see any reason for any other city.
They just don't know that they can't leave.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So how did you get involved in this kind of work, Sandy?
Well, it was actually through the death of my older sister. In fact, that's my little show and tell. My sister, Sharon, who is 3 years older, was 3 years older than I was absolutely tethered to her. To say I was close is not accurate. I was tethered to my sister. I was attached to her. And through horrible cancer journey, she passed away September 30th of 2006. And before that, I had been involved and had worked for Christian education and Christian ministry for 27 years. And that was my life. Christian education, Christian ministry, all that is what my life was. And then I kind of got, not burned out, I just needed a bigger challenge. So I wanted a bigger challenge than that. But I didn't want to go back into the corporate world because at one time I was a legal secretary and I loved the law. I love the law. So fascinating. But I didn't want to go back into that. And now I love nonprofit, so I wasn't sure how to make a transition, and I wasn't sure what to do. So I just started exploring different nonprofit opportunities. My sister was still alive, and I was running everything by her. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? And my sister wisely said, all that's ever mattered to you is that you make a difference and that you give back. That's what's been your driving force. So make sure whatever it is you do, you feel fulfilled in that you're giving back and you're making a difference. Well, then she left us on September 30th, and one of the jobs or positions that came up, although I wasn't that interested, was to work for the San Gaberial Chamber of Commerce. I had never, ever, ever even walked into a chamber office, ever, never. Didn't know anything about them, I did know about San Gabriel, but I did not know anything about a chamber. However, I think I was just in such a state of shock that I went to the interview, and it was fun. I had so much fun at that interview, mainly because I didn't really care, and I was functioning in shock. And so I, for some reason, said, yes, I'll take this position. And then that was history, November 1st, 2006. And it was hard for me because I didn't have my sister. I didn't have her to run it by her. I had run every life-changing decision ever by her, always. And so I kept my picture of my sister and her two grandchildren. I kept it with me all the time. And when I started the chamber, I had it with me every single day because this was a huge, huge change for me, huge change. And I didn't have Sharon. Who am I going to run things by? So I would just carry that around and sort of talk to her and what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And I'm now almost 14 years later, I'm so thankful I did. But had it not been for the fact that I was operating in shock, I'm not sure I would have stayed there. I don't know that I would have been any part of that. But it just seemed like, all right, that's fine. I'll do this. Okay, I'll do it.
Did working at the chamber help with the loss?
Yes, because they were very needy. And when I started there was the office manager and me. And it was nothing like it is today. They had an amazing board of directors. That's what they had. They had an amazing board of directors that had heart and loved the chamber, loved what the chamber stood for. But other than that, the office manager at the time was rather chaotic, and the chamber was chaotic. So I started there, and the first thing I did was reach out to one of the chamber members, one of the board of directors, and said, what is this that you've gotten me into? Because it just looks like a disaster. And she said, yes, we need you. And okay, I'm needed here. So I remember just talking to my sister and saying, I'm not sure I made the right decision, but I'm needed here. So maybe I can make a difference. Maybe I can have an impact. Maybe I can contribute.
Do you still feel that way?
Oh, I love it. I yes, absolutely. Because everything about it, when I came to know, since I didn't know anything about chambers, what I came to know is that the chamber can be their lifeblood. And through this pandemic, the chamber has been the lifeblood for a lot of people, because we try to connect them with resources. We try to connect them. Like, I got a hold of Scott and Thomas and said, we need a webinar. And so can you put this on? And he said, sure. Because through this pandemic, what I learned and what I've came to, be so proud of is so many people look to the chamber for the information. How do I find these resources? How do I find this information? How do I find that telephone, that teleconference? But I think that it all started with, yes, my sister leaving me and thinking, I just am lost. I'm lost. And then starting at this Chamber of Commerce and realizing, well, they're rather lost too. And I think that's what helped. I think what helped is they were as lost as I was. So
have some of those people that were there in the beginning that you felt really, understood what was needed and were supportive of you, are they still there?
Yes.
So you can name names.
So we have Diana Costa, who is the Children's Ministries Director. And I think that helped too, because Diana Costa, Children's Ministries Director, was the person that hired me. She was the HR person to say, well, because she had a ministry at San Gabriel Christian School and Community Church, I felt, okay, this isn't quite so foreign. There's a believer here, because I wasn't sure. I didn't know what to do outside of Christian education and Christian ministry. What am I going to do if this is, but then I became so close to her. So she's still with us. She's not on the board, but she's very much involved in the chamber. Wendy Holton, who owns Dixon Motor Services, she was on the board then, and she went off for a couple of years, and she's back on the board. She never left the chamber. She just had to term out off the board, and she's back. So she's with us. And who else is still there? Well, I think that almost everybody, the only people that aren't part of the chamber now are ones that have passed away. The wonderful, wonderful woman that was part of the board when I came, Dondi Adkins from Mueller Realty, passed away a few years ago, so that was really sad. And Leanne Dixon, owner of Dixon Motor Services, she passed away maybe 4 years ago. But the only ones that have left us are the ones that have passed away or moved.
Well, San Gabriel is a very diverse community. And are you finding that you're getting the entire community involved? And are you seeing younger people getting involved?
We're starting to see some younger people get involved because they realize they can't do it on their own, especially right now. We do have a very hard time getting the Asian community involved. That's probably one of our biggest challenges. Not that we don't invite them, not that we wouldn't like them to. We have Chinese people on our board of directors, Attorney Paul Chang on our board of directors. And we have several Chinese people on our board of directors and in the chamber. But as a whole, it's a little challenging to get the Asian community involved in the chamber. We're not really sure why. So as the pandemic, as things start to open back up and we're able to go in person, but we're hoping that we'll just continue to make the outreach. We did make a connection recently with the Taiwanese American Greater Chamber of Commerce of Greater Los Angeles, and they're in San Gabriel. The Taiwanese Chamber of Commerce is in San Gabriel. They're right there in the same building as the Realtor Association on Valley, 3 blocks from you. Well, we met them recently at a mask giveaway at Arcadia Hospital that Attorney Paul Chang facilitated. And I met the president of that chamber. And so we've been in touch with him, and we're going to do some things with our 2 chambers together because...
Well, that'll be helpful to try to...
Yes.
That's part of your outreach.
Yes. So that's what I told him. I think they're having the opposite problem trying to reach some of the non-Asian businesses, non-Chinese, because they're the Taiwanese American Chamber of Commerce. Really nice people. I know several of them now. So I said, well, let's just do some events together. So that's our plan, is to start to do things together to just have more of an outreach and make more of an impact.
That's interesting. I would imagine that maybe more than half of businesses in San Gabriel are Chinese.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It must be a cultural thing why they're not involved.
I think so. I think that part of it also is this face doesn't look Chinese. So we're trying to now, some of our board members, we're saying to them, you need to go meet them and talk with them. And because we have board members that speak Chinese.
Oh, you can just learn Chinese.
Or that, yes. They speak Mandarin, Cantonese, but we really want them to be more involved, especially as they start to reopen. We had a wonderful Japanese restaurant. Scott, they're probably maybe 3 blocks from you. You could easily walk there. It's called Yoshino Sushi. And they just joined the chamber. It's not a new restaurant.
They've been there a long time.
A long time.
Yeah, I've been there many times.
So good.
Right.
So it's a new owner. So it's the same restaurant. Mm-hmm. And the girl that owns it now, she and her husband bought it. She used to work there as a waitress.
Oh.
When she was in school. Then when they were going to sell it, she just couldn't let that happen. She said, I thought, I don't know how to run a restaurant, but I can't let this be sold. So she and her husband bought it. She actually has a second business and 2 little children. But one of the first things she did was join the chamber. So we couldn't do her ribbon cutting yet because she bought it in December, got it open, and then the pandemic. So we've been there. We've been there and eaten, got things to go. It opened and we went there at the right time. We could sit down and eat, but now you have to take it out, which is fine. But we'll be doing her grand opening ribbon cutting, and we hope that when we do that and we invite her neighbors, that will not only obviously help her restaurant, but get more people involved and see, oh, these people aren't so strange after all. They're nice. So it's delicious food, and that is very helpful.
So it's a 14-year journey from first coming to the chamber,
Yes.
and now you're the executive director. What are some of the most memorable moments for you working at the chamber?
Probably one of the most memorable was when we opened the Airstream Los Angeles. So I think it was in 2012 that Airstream Los Angeles opened. It had a chamber member owned the car dealership that was there. And then he decided he was going to not do that car dealership and have Airstream. So San Gabriel became the home of the first exclusive Airstream dealership in Southern California.
Is that like a trailer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they're amazing. So that was...
Where are they located?
It's on Las Tunas and Burton,
Okay.
and right across from Stuffed Sandwich.
Okay.
Okay, on the opposite side of the street. So that was... I didn't know anything about Airstream. I didn't know anything about them, but I'd seen them. I just didn't know a whole lot about them. They're from Ohio, wonderful company. We met the owners, met everybody, and they opened the facility. Dennis Lynn opened a dealership there, and the fact that we were, because I'm very competitive, so the fact that we got the first Airstream, exclusive Airstream in Southern California was very exciting. So to be able to do that and help from the ground up with that, we didn't build it because the facility was there, but we got to be part of transforming it from a car dealership into this beautiful Airstream, and then having the grand opening ribbon cutting, and then we had a 1-year anniversary. So that was extremely, extremely exciting because it brought a whole new energy, but it also brought a whole new community to San Gabriel because there are Airstreamers. And it's exciting because there's a whole community that's what they do. They have Airstreams and they do these camping trips and they come together. So when we did the grand opening ribbon cutting, there were all these people from all over the place that came to be part of this. This is pretty wonderful. This is really wonderful. And then we had the San Gabriel Mission. I don't know if you've been to the San Gabriel Mission Auditorium.
Yes.
But it was built for the Mission play. So it was built, I think what was it built in 1945. 1945 it was dedicated. Well, at some point, and I had gone long before I came to the chamber, many years ago. I brought my daughter when she was very young to the San Gabriel Mission Mission Playhouse to watch the Nutcracker. We all bring our kids to see the Nutcracker. Then when I came to work at the chamber, by then the city had changed the name of the Mission Playhouse to the Civic Auditorium. And that was sad for me. So when I came back to work at the chamber, the Mission Playhouse was now the San Gabriel Civic Auditorium. Well, that's not a very there's nothing distinguishing about that. Everybody has a civic
rather
auditorium.
bland, isn't
Yes,
it? Yeah.
we all have that. Well, but while I was there, the city decided, let's rename it. Let's put it back to what it should be. And so the Philharmonic came, and there was this amazing free event for the renaming of the Mission Playhouse. Like I said, the Philharmonic was there, and the chamber had a little beer and wine table that we did. So that was exciting because it brought the chamber and brought the whole city together, because it wasn't just a chamber event or a city event. It was a whole community event. And then it was community wide. And it wasn't just San Gabriel. So many people came. And you're going to hear the Philharmonic for free. And you're going to be part of this renaming. So I can just still see all these people from everywhere coming. It was so exciting.
Yeah, I can see it on your face. You're really excited to help these businesses. For our listeners, can you describe where is the Playhouse? Is it on Mission Road?
It's on Mission Drive.
Mission Drive.
So it's in the Mission District.
Okay.
And it's in between Santa Anita and Las Tunas, for a better description of where it would be. But it's right in the heart of the Mission District. So we have the San Gabriel City Hall, which is also beautiful. It's a beautiful city hall at one end. And then you just walk a ways. Right across the street from the city hall is the San Gabriel Mission. And then down a ways is Grapevine Park, which has a real grapevine, one of the original grapevines there. And because, San Gabriel is the birthplace of Los Angeles, its history, which is very exciting. Then a ways down from that is the beautiful Mission Playhouse and the fountain out there. It's just breathtaking. It's a breathtaking historical site.
And your office is right there.
Yeah, our office is just down the street, also just in the other direction, which is everything about the Mission District. You fall in love with it. So we've given tours we gave you a tour of the Mission, but we've had some people that like to know about the Mission District. So the chamber sets up a tour with the Mission and with somebody from the Mission Playhouse and then somebody from Grapevine Park, and taking them all around. And people don't realize how beautiful our Mission District is. It's beautiful. Mm-hmm. And we're revitalizing it because right now there's not a lot going on.
Well, the shame of it is that it's such a beautiful facility. It is the founding of Los Angeles was right there.
Right there.
But I think a lot of people think of San Gabriel and they have no connection to the Mission. They may think of Valley Boulevard or San Gabriel or Las Tunas, or it's the Mission actually needs to sort of step up and make itself seen more.
Well, interesting that you say that, because next year, September 8th, 2021, will be the 250th anniversary of the San Gabriel Mission. And our mission is one of the original 21 missions. We're number 4. So there's so much history there. And we gave Scott a tour a few months ago, a tour of the mission, because we had for those that don't know, Scott Wormuth he's an amazing attorney, but so much more than that. He has a heart that is gigantic. So the director of development from the San Gabriel Mission is obviously a member of the chamber, and the San Gabriel Mission, I've sent a lot of 4th grade students to tour there They need to take a tour of the missions and do reports, fourth graders. So I've set up tours for fourth graders there, individual tours. Well, the director of development, she and her husband went down to San Juan Capistrano and did a lot of studying of that mission and talked to the people about how did you get this to look like this? What did you do? How did this all happen? And she did a lot of research, and she came back and she said, I've been down to San Juan Capistrano, and I have this idea because everybody wants to revitalize the San Gabriel mission. We want to bring it. It's a functioning mission. It's beautiful. They have mass. They have beautiful mass. The gardens is actually one of my most favorite places. Is the gardens at the San Gabriel mission. They're gorgeous, peaceful, and it's full of life. But you're right. It needs more, and it was disrepair because over the years. So the idea was to start a campaign for revitalizing the mission, and the director of development said, everything is perfect except we have one little problem. And I said, well, what could be the problem? There's interest. Everybody loves the mission. It's not my parish, but we all love it. It's the city with a mission. We all say that. We love our city. We love the mission. She said, well, we have to form a conservancy. Great, let's form a conservancy. She said, well, there's the first problem. We need $5,000. I said, well, that's not even a problem. She said, well, I don't think you have it. I said, I don't, but I know who does. So we went to see Scott and said, oh, Scott. And we laid out the plan, not my plan. Terry Huerta and her husband had put together this beautiful, beautiful PowerPoint of some ideas, ways to revitalize the mission and the grounds and everything. And the first thing was to set up a conservancy, show the PowerPoint to Scott, and he turned to me and said, so what do you need from me, money? And I said, well, actually, if you just give me your wallet or your credit card, make life so much easier. But he stepped up, and because of your generosity, which I know you get embarrassed when I say this, but because of your generosity, they started the consortium, the conservancy. Had you not been willing to do that, then they could never have started the whole process to have a conservancy.
They would have been able to do it without me. But the point is, you were involved, Terry Huerta.
Yes.
These are two, very just high achieving people. And knowing that you were involved, it was going to get done. And it did get done.
And it'll be a long process. And, there was a recent fire, which was heartbreaking.
Yeah, I heard about that.
It's so heartbreaking, but because they'd started the work, because the 250th anniversary is next September. And of course, we all want to have there's going to be a huge celebration and just so many people and very exciting and history in the making. They'd started the renovation. They'd done painting. They had refinished the pews. They'd started a lot of work in the old church. And thankfully, most of the beautiful artwork and artifacts were out. Had they taken it out of the church because of renovating? Thank goodness. And then this fire broke out, several weeks ago now. Terrible, terrible, terrible fire. But the exciting thing is that the fire stopped at the altar. Oh. So yes, there was this horrible fire, the roof, all this damage, terrible damage, but it stopped at the altar. So the altar was not damaged, and the artwork and so many of the artifacts, they weren't damaged because they had been taken out. So the rebuilding will start. It's already started, and they're doing it. We didn't get to have Fiesta this year, so this was the first year without Fiesta, which was usually over Labor Day. That was really different for our city because the whole city turns out for Fiesta. The whole San Gabriel Valley comes to Fiesta over Labor Day weekend. It's 3 days, and it's just so much fun, and the culture and the history and the food and everything. So we didn't get to have that, which was really, really difficult. But prayerfully, they'll just work hard, and people are already giving money, and they'll just get it done. And September 8th of 2021 will be the 250th anniversary. So, we're praying that it all comes together.
The mission is really special for San Gabriel and actually all across California. If I remember correctly, it's Junipero Serra would establish a mission, walk a day, and then establish another one. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And this might be very interesting. So as we were trying to figure out a design to capture the show in the San Gabriel Valley. There are many iconic things in the San Gabriel Valley. The Rose Bowl, Norton Simon, the Rose Bowl Parade, Mount Wilson. And my wife said, the mission. And so the image for the show and the podcast is actually a priest holding a key ring, right? And so the show is the master key, or
Oh, that's right. That's right.
yeah, SGV master key. So when you look at the logo, it is actually a priest holding keys, master keys.
I have to look at that logo
Yeah.
again. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, that was
Thank
my
you.
wife's design, but yeah, it's for the mission.
Well, when I very first started at this job, it was just very challenging for me. I just lost my sister. I wasn't living in San Gabriel, but I was there all the time. And so much was strange, so much was challenging. So I found my footing by walking over to the mission and going through the gardens. I called the person that was, oh my gosh, that's
I'm
beautiful.
showing her
Russell.
the what you just
The
described.
logo.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
that's the idea for my wife, but I helped to execute
You
it.
did a great job.
Yeah.
So I would walk over to the mission. I would call them and ask if I could have permission. They'd say, sure, come. So I would walk over to the mission and just walk through the gardens. And I found my footing doing that, because not only is there so much history, that wasn't it. It was such a peaceful, beautiful place. And everyone is welcome. And that it just felt welcoming. It felt peaceful, and nobody bothered me. And I would spend a lot of time there, almost, I would say at least 3 times a week, just go walking through the gardens, because it is so peaceful. And then if that didn't do the trick, I would walk down to the Mission Playhouse and walk all around the Mission Playhouse on the outside and sit by the fountain, because those are really beautiful, beautiful, beautiful places. And they capture so much of the history of San Gabriel Valley and what makes us different and the same. And it's really amazing. And if you've never had an opportunity to take a tour of the San Gabriel Mission Playhouse, you need to do that. I'll have to set that up for you. To have a tour of the Mission Playhouse, have someone that knows the history of the Playhouse and give you the history, but more importantly, take you on a backstage and tell you the ghost stories. Oh my gosh. They take you backstage. Someone that really knows the history, and the stories that there's a history that somebody fell into the cement when they were building it, and they couldn't get him out. And so he's in the walls. And there's all these stories. Well, and the theater is full of stories, and the theater is full of ghosts and everything like that. Amazing. Well, if you take a tour, which I can easily arrange for you, yes, it's gorgeous. Our Mission Playhouse is beautiful, but you sit there all by yourself, and you kind of feel all the different performances that have gone on, the mission play for which it was created, and then you get to go backstage and hear the ghost stories and see how, because they still have, yes, they've redone a lot of things, but they still have some of the old-fashioned pulleys of how to get the curtains up and everything. It's just the most remarkable, beautiful, historic place that we're not only so proud of, but love to share. And so if you've never taken your kids to see the Nutcracker there, or any play there, so beautiful. Silent Sundays, when they have the Silent Sunday films and the pipe organ, because we have this beautiful pipe organ that we got from, I can't remember where it came from, someplace else in the United States, that we brought it over. It's just so much fun in that city.
I like to talk about how you've seen businesses come and go and struggle and succeed in your role with the chamber. But let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
The legal process can be intimidating. You don't know where to start, and you're unsure of what to expect. The attorneys and staff at the law offices of Scott Wormuth have been serving the San Gabriel Valley for over 35 years, helping people just like you navigate through the legal process and ensuring you're treated fairly. You can find them at law888.com or call 626-282-6868. That's 626-282-6868.
And we're back with Sandy Rosco. So if you could share some stories of either success, failure, overcoming with the businesses that come through your chamber.
Some of them are very, very heartwarming, and you feel so excited and proud, like the Airstreams or some of those, the Sheraton. But some are heartbreaking. And some of them right now, obviously, really, really challenging right now. And one of the ones that's really hard for me right now is our beautiful Sheraton. The Sheraton Los Angeles San Gabriel on Valley Boulevard. I had never, when I came to San Gabriel, the Hilton was already there, which we love the Hilton. I call it the hotel with a heart, because I've never in my life ever been around a general manager like Mr. Carl Bolte, who runs the Hilton, and the owner, Sunny Chan. I've never met people like that, and Julie Costanzo, the director of sales, who were so welcoming and so everything for not just the chamber, but the nonprofits especially. They love them. And so we nicknamed it the Hotel with the Heart, but it was already there. And we have most of our events there. Well, then this development is going to come, and it is going to be the Crown Plaza to begin with. So I went to every meeting, every community outreach, everything, because this was just this huge piece of land. And I thought, what are we going to do? What's going to happen here? And I want to be on the ground floor of having a say.
Where is that one?
At the Sheraton now, where it is right now.
Okay.
Right. So then we went to everything, including the planning and the outreach. And I spoke on behalf of, this is the first time I'd really been able to get up and talk in front of city council about a brand new project that was nothing. It was just nothing. There's nothing there. And to me, it was, and there was a lot of concern, and not everybody in the community wanted it, not because they're against progress, but they weren't sure what it was going to look like. They weren't sure. And I understand that. For me, it was all about jobs. So all I could see is jobs, because one of the hardest things in this at the chamber is to get phone calls from people back then and now looking for work. And they're looking to see, are you hiring? Do you know anybody that's hiring? So I said to the city council, this is a project that's going to hire people, and that's wonderful. So then it became a Sheraton, and that's who bought it, was the Sheraton Hazen's Group. But again, it was nothing. It was just this dirt. And we got to Alexis Salamanca, who's on my board of directors and is one of my dear friends. He does all the marketing material for the chamber. I would drag him over there all the time and say, let's go see this. Well, it's just dirt. But we got to then be part of the groundbreaking, and that was in 2015, August of 2015. That was my first big groundbreaking like that. So much fun having it come together. Again, dirt. But we had our shovels and we had our hard hats, and then to watch it go up. Alexis and I were there almost every day. Almost every day we were on that location, watching progress, seeing the progress, and putting hard hats on, and we got to climb up and down concrete stairs that were just nothing, and watching this come to life. And getting the community together and excited, because yes, it's going to be a big new development, which meant more traffic and a lot of things that rightly so residents are concerned about, water usage and a lot of things. But also from our perspective, getting them excited about, but this means jobs. This means jobs. And that was one of the first times that I had the opportunity to do that, of saying, this is a place that it used to be dirt. Now it's going to come to life. It will bring in tourism, tax dollars for the city, infrastructure improvement for our city, but jobs. And to talk one-on-one with residents, trying to not necessarily change their minds about this, but also getting them to come to town hall meetings to let their voices be heard, to say what we're concerned about are these things. And then having the owner say, okay, we'll take that into consideration. We can make these modifications. Watching how the system could work was brand new for me. And I had worked for a construction company a trillion years ago. And I liked it. I liked it a lot, but I hadn't done that for many, many years. This is the first time in this role that I got to do that. And I got to influence and make a difference and help the community to let your voice be heard. Even if you don't like the project, that's okay. Let your voice be heard. And then watch concessions being made. Watch how planning department works, how design review works, how city councils can work. And watch this come to life, to nothing. And then this beautiful, 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 beautiful hotel that's just breathtaking, spectacular, beautiful, wonderful people. And it was so full of life. And of course, now it has reopened, but on a much smaller scale. You know, the restaurants aren't, the bar isn't. But to know it will again. And the people, the management is fantastic. But to see what the chamber was able to do and make a difference was really exciting, really exciting. That was a success. But then we've also obviously done grand openings for businesses that don't make it. And those are hard. Those are really hard, especially because they're usually mom and pops. They're usually a husband and wife, or maybe it's a single mom, or it's a family and they're putting everything into it and they give it their all and they don't make it. We take it very personally. And we try our best, but it's like you can't rescue them all. But those are heartbreaking. We see a business close, whether it's even before the pandemic. Now it's really hard. But even before the pandemic, because running a small mom and pop shop is very, very challenging. You take some of the restaurants there in the Mission District, Pizza Place, California. It was one owner when I came, delicious, delicious Italian food. And then there was another owner. In fact, it was one of our council members. He and his wife bought it and did a lot of work, just made it so beautiful. Delicious food, delicious menu. But they ended up selling it because they both had full-time jobs and raising 2 girls, and he's a city council member. It's just a lot of work. And then it's gone through changes. It's gone through change of ownership. Those are really tough. Those are tough to see because you get all excited and you get attached to people, and then they don't make it.
Yeah, that is tough. I grew up in the San Gabriel Valley. I grew up in Monterey Park and then lived in San Gabriel for some time by the police station.
Okay, down on Del Mar?
Del Mar off of Mission.
Okay.
So I've seen Valley Boulevard change over the years, and when the Hilton came and the strip malls came, and I don't think anything was as transforming to that area as the Sheraton. The Sheraton really transformed the feel of that area.
Yes.
It really sort of elevated San Gabriel to I think, a different level of city. Yeah.
I agree with you, Russell. Like I said, I wasn't sure what it was going to be like. Nobody was. And we had just spent so much time at the Hilton and love it and still do. So, a new hotel is coming, but what's it going to be like? And what are the people going to be like? And I think that was a lot of concern of a lot of us, was we know the owner and the general manager of the Hilton, and they are so much part of the community. They come to everything. They support everything. They're part of this community. Now we have a group called the Hazens Group. Who are they? We don't even know these people. And what is this going to be like? What is the management? What is it? So you don't know. And there was the unknown can be very fearful. And a lot of us don't like what we don't know. But as soon as I sat down with Mason and Norman and the different people from the Hazens group. As soon as I sat down with them to plan the groundbreaking, you knew they were going to fit right in because they loved the city. They embraced it. They really, you could tell the fears were not founded. They would take care of the city. And we took one of their, someone from the Pyramid Group, the management team, we took her around the city, and she's from, I think she lives in Beverly Hills or Irvine, one of those two. So we took her all around, and she knew nothing about San Gabriel. So we said, we'll give you a tour. And she's just a delightful, delightful person, really nice. Jenny Hoffman, really nice person. But she didn't know San Gabriel. So as we're driving her around, Alexis and I are driving her around, we took her to Hingwali Jewelers. We took her to the Mission District. We took her all around. Before noon, before we stopped and had lunch at one of the restaurants over on Valley, she had fallen in love with the city because she had no idea. All she knew was get off the freeway, go to this plot of dirt, and get back on the freeway and go back to Beverly Hills, go back to Irvine. And I said to her, I teasingly said to her, you probably think that we're some little podunk city. And she kind of sheepishly looked at me, and I said, it's okay. People think that, but we're not. And I said, I say we because even though I don't live here, I'm always here, and I love this city, and I'm very attached to it. But we're not. And she said, I see that. Our country club is gorgeous. I said, and you can get anywhere you need to go. You can get there from San Gabriel very easily, very easily. And then as more people came to the Sheraton, as more of the team came and they were doing the hiring, and everyone that they brought on, really you could tell they had put a lot of thought into who they were hiring. And the transformation, you're right, the transformation was beautiful, but they put a lot of thought into it. It wasn't just like, well, let's go do this, and if it doesn't work, we'll leave.
So you know everybody, don't you?
Well, I try to meet as many people as I can. I try to, and really it's for the benefit of our chamber members, because we have members everywhere. The furthest is Riverside. Actually, it's my sister-in-law. She and her husband have a travel business. We have members everywhere. Well, I want to see where they are as much as I can, but I also want to make sure that I'm connecting them to people. You know, they join the chamber for business. They would join the chamber so they can get their word out about their business, get connections. So the more people I know, the more I'm out just meeting other people, and you always meet someone that says, oh, I need an attorney, or I need this person, or I need that person. Well, I'm fiercely loyal to our chamber members, so I never recommend anyone that isn't part of the chamber. So I love that. I love that I can say, we have someone. We have somebody for everybody.
And you just love doing your events, don't you?
Oh, I do.
I mean, you just love getting up on a stage.
Yeah, I love it. It's like so
and you
much fun.
control everything.
Mm-hmm. Our biggest event is we don't have them now, but we will again. The expos, we have these wonderful expos, the Education Expo and the Business Expo at the Hilton. And we bring all these different businesses together. Scott's always a major sponsor. And we bring every kind of business together. I can only have 100 because that's as big as the ballroom is. But we always sell out. And it's every single kind of business you can imagine. And then the public comes for free. We don't charge any admission, and the Hilton partners with us in such a way that we don't have to charge for parking or admission or anything. The food samples, everything is free. So you can imagine people love it, and that way they come and they get to meet all of our different chamber members that doing all kinds of different things. So we have fashion shows on the stage, we have martial arts demonstrations, dance demonstrations. It's so much fun, but when you stand up there and you look out and you realize, we helped build this. We helped build this community. And we brought all these people together, and we're helping these businesses for a very low price. We charge very little for them to be there. And I mean, it's a fundraiser for the chamber, but if they can't afford it, well, we just go get a sponsor for them. So, because we want to bring them together, but you watch these businesses who were barely hanging on, And then the next year they're doing better. And they come the next year and they're doing better. And you had a part in that. There's nothing like that. There's nothing like that. My favorite is our nonprofits, and I don't hide that. That's my world. And we have beautiful, amazing nonprofit organizations that belong to our chamber. And that's my real passion, is to help them. So they belong to the chamber, and we help promote their fundraisers. We go to their fundraisers. We help with the different things that they do. And then to see them grow and to see people get involved that maybe someone never heard of La Casa de San Gabriel Community Center. Maybe they never heard of Asian Youth Center. Maybe they never heard of Elizabeth House that helps get pregnant women off the street. Maybe they never heard of Family Promise that keeps homeless families together and gets them off the street. They never heard about that. They never heard of these. And our chamber can introduce those nonprofits to a lot of other people and then build up their donor base and their volunteer base. And that's been extremely rewarding, is to see that. I came in knowing Elizabeth House, they're located here in Pasadena, and they help get pregnant women off the street. I loved being pregnant. I was married and healthy and had everything that I needed for this baby. So to think of a woman being homeless and pregnant, I can't even imagine anything worse. And they're of every age, and they're pregnant and they have no home, no medical care, nothing. And Elizabeth House helps them. So when I came to the chamber, I just brought them right along with me. And to watch people get to know the executive director, Debbie Unruh, and get to know the mission of Elizabeth House, and then want to give and say, well, I have these clothes for women. Well, let's take them to Elizabeth House, or help get involved with them. It's so exciting. Those are success stories for me.
It sounds like you have a lot of passion for one, but a lot to offer businesses to come and join the chamber. What do you have to say to a business or someone who's thinking of going into business who's unsure of whether or not they want to join the chamber, or if the chamber is right for them?
It's an excellent question. And one of the things that we're the most proud of, Russell, is we don't push membership. We don't want a business to join if we're not going to be a good match for them. So we tell them what we can offer them. And the main thing we offer is connections, and networking events. And while now we're pivoting to virtual networking events, we'll be having in person again, but virtual right now. But we also, because of our website and the developing of the website and the social media presence, we have something called finditinSanGaberial.com. And if you look, Scott Wormuth is a sponsor of that too. There he is. But it's an opportunity for all these businesses to have a little tile, and you click on their tile and it takes them right to their website. And they get that as a benefit of membership. They don't pay any extra for that. So what we always tell them is, first of all, check us out. Come to things, see what you think. And then you need advertising, you need publicity, you need promotion. Well, that's huge budget that they don't have. And that's probably the biggest benefit of our chamber, I can only speak about us, is that we take seriously promoting them. So if we're going to do their ribbon cutting, which we do for every new business, and we will do them again, we invite everybody. Come get to know them, because what better way? And then for our restaurants, we do things like Tasty Tuesdays. So if if it's a restaurant, we say, we will have a Tasty Tuesday at your restaurant, meaning we will have like a flash mob. We're going to say, we're going to meet at Clearman's Galley on Tuesday from 11:30 to 2. Show up and network. And everyone buys their own meal. And so it's not a fundraiser for the chamber. It's just buy your own meal. But it's an opportunity for the restaurant to get new business. So for a restaurant, we always encourage them to join the chamber, because we can guarantee you we will bring you people. Our community loves to eat.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. She will talk up everybody and anybody, as long as they're a member.
As long as they're a member. We're loyal to that. We don't refer anyone to someone that if they're not a member. So if Scott calls and he says, I really need a painter, even if I have a painter that's my best friend, if they're not a member of the chamber, I don't recommend them, because it's not fair to the people that pay membership.
Sure.
So, Sandy, we have what we call SGV3, and SGV3 is your recounting to us of 3 of the very special places or events or things that have happened in the San Gabriel Valley for you.
Well, I would say one of my very favorite things is our business expos. And when I started there in 2006, they had one in 2006, May of 2006. And I was actually hired. One of the reasons I was hired was to expand that, was to grow the expo. And so I found out what that was all about. And we, little by little, and now when we sell it out with a waiting list, but more importantly, yes, it brings money to the chamber, which was wonderful, but that wasn't what makes it my favorite. What makes it my favorite is to see businesses who could never be in this kind of an event. It is a little business that maybe this woman sells jewelry, handcrafted jewelry, and I invite her to be in the expo, and she said, "Oh, I can't afford those." And I said, "Well, it's $100 for your table. Can you do $100?" And she's, "I can do $100. Then they come and they see what this event looks like. I mean, you've been there. The Hilton, we transform it in. We have a different theme every year. So one year it was space. It was, it's out of this world. The expo is going to be out of this world, and we have this rocket ship pan, really fun. But to see the faces of some of our small businesses that never thought they could be in a first-class event, and they come and they're treated well, and they have a beautiful table all set up, and they have all these people that come because we do so much advertising for it, we do so much promotion, and they have, maybe 1,000 people come to their table that night. They never thought that could happen, and some of them weren't even going to try. Or we have our education expo now, and we have a lot of little schools or little like tutoring business, maybe a husband and wife tutoring business, and I invite them to come to the education expo. They say the same thing. Well, those are usually really expensive. When you tell them the price, they can't believe it. Then they say, "Well, how much for the marketing? How much?" And he said, "No, that includes everything." So to watch these people think, "I never thought I could have something like this. I never thought I could be involved in something like this." And then to make a sale or to get a booking or watch their business grow. And then the next year they're calling me, "When is the date? When is the date? I don't want to miss it. We've been saving." It's just so exciting. So that's one of my most favorite things. And then the Airstream Los Angeles, to watch Airstream Los Angeles come to San Gabriel. We get the first one. And the reason I love it, I love going over there. Sometimes I just go and park and sit there, because every one of those travel vehicles, every one of those Airstreams means memories for a family, means memories for someone. And so sometimes if I'm feeling like I'm a little stuck, or I don't feel real creative, or maybe I'm just kind of not feeling great for whatever reason, you go there and you just picture these beautiful Airstreams being used for families making memories. A husband and wife, or whatever the couple looks like, whatever the family unit looks like.
Summer
it doesn't
vacation
matter.
or
Yes. Yes.
Camping.
So much fun.
Right.
So that's all about dreams and adventure. And so when I say to people, just go, take a look at Airstream. You don't have to buy them. Some of them you can rent. And really, and then say, don't think of it as a vehicle. Think of it as this is a memory. You're going to make memories. And that we took when Senator Hernandez was the senator, when Ed Hernandez was our senator, we took him there. He had so much fun. He had so much fun touring Airstream and getting in and out of the Airstream trailers. And we were talking about that. Every time you get in one, just picture all the dreams, the adventures these are going to go on.
It's funny because when I was a kid, we would take trailer trips, rent a trailer for a week. The family would go camping, and you always remember that.
Yes, memories.
Yeah,
because you're making a memory. And then the other one is the San Gabriel Mission, walking around the gardens, the peacefulness, the history, and now to know that, okay, it burned, but the whole thing didn't burn down, part of it. But we get to watch it and be part of having it be rebuilt. We get to make a donation. We get to be part of that. Again, part of history. That was the birthplace of Los Angeles. It's going to come back alive. It's going to come back alive. And what better is that? Nothing's better than that. And the parishioners, the people that belong to that parish, wonderful, wonderful people. The work that parish does, the food bank they have now, they do such a good job with taking care of the community. Not their own people, by the way. You don't have to belong to that parish. It's for everyone. It's for the community. And that's kind of what that means to me.
As spiritual as you are, you like that tangible.
Yes.
You like to see or touch what has happened, whether it's a hotel being built.
I do.
The Airstream.
I do.
Or
I like, you're right.
Mission being rebuilt, and you can see it. You can feel it, touch it.
I can touch it. I can help make memories.
I think your enthusiasm and passion really comes through for your community and what you do. How can people get in touch with you, or how can they become a member of the chamber?
Very easy. All they have to do is they can call me. They can call my cell phone, 818-636-1149. They can call the chamber, 626-576-2525, or they can visit our website, www.sangaberialchamber.org.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
We make everything easy.
Sandy, it was wonderful to have you on the show. I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story, your journeys, and I wish you the best with the chamber in the future.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this opportunity, and I appreciate Scott Warmoth and everything you mean to me and to our community at large.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, you are much greater than me, so
no, that's so
we're celebrating you. Thanks
for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for checking out another episode of the SGV Master Key. You can find the full back catalog of the SGV Master Key podcast at sgvmasterkey.com. This show was produced and edited by Russell Mono of Kind Monster Productions. Thanks again for listening or watching. We'll see you again very soon in the next episode.
Nice mother. No, kind mother.